Back in 2014, we bought this old farmhouse on 6 acres. We thought it was going to be the house that we would die in, and some things kind of changed here in 2026. We actually ended up moving to central Pennsylvania, and we did a ton of work on this house and got it pretty much the way we wanted it, and then moved away from it. And most of the work that we did to the house, we did before we had our YouTube channel. And so we thought we would go back over some of the pictures that we had of the improvements that we made and just kind of show some before and afters of what we did to this house. We bought the house mainly for the 6 acres, and I told people when I bought it that this house really reminded me of my grandparents' house. It's just something that hadn't been updated for years and just kind of got lost in time. But we saw the potential in what this house could be, and we were excited to make some improvements and make it our own. So I'm one of these people that absolutely hate clutter, and there was a ton of trees on this property that really kind of cluttered it up. It was hard to mow around some of the trees, and mowing 3 acres wasn't an easy task. And so we cut down about 40 something trees. Some of them were small and some were really big trees, but there was about 40 something that we cut down and ground out the stumps, and it became nice that it was just kind of mowing a big field. Although we should have done the responsible thing and probably put a bedroom off in the back of this house, we decided to put a covered porch so we could let our dogs out on the porch and kind of give them a run. If you're familiar with the channel, you know there's a ton of rock in our yard, and it actually took us longer to dig the holes for the porch than it took just my wife and I to build that covered porch. I remember coming home in the evenings, and her and I would sit there and dig at these rocks in the holes, trying to get the holes deep enough so we could actually start the project. And then once we were done, it was a good accomplishment that just her and I were able to do the whole project. Since we have 4 sizes of dogs, and one of them is a really small dachshund, I decided that the dogs needed their own steps to get off from the porch. So I built these tiny little doggy steps. When we moved in, the U-Haul truck almost hit the power lines across the driveway, so we decided that we needed to dig in the power. So when we put an addition on the side, we went and rented a trencher and dug the trench ourselves. And the power company, if you want to do this yourself, the power company will actually give you a schematic of what you need to do, and you can just do the work yourself and save yourself a ton of money. And that's what we ended up doing. My wife and I moved the power ourselves, and of course the internet, that wasn't hard to do. And then we had another guy help us move the gas line, but other than that, we pretty much moved our utilities. The addition that we put on the side of the house was a master bathroom, a walk-in closet, and then another full bathroom. And in hindsight, we really should have not made a crawl space. We should have made a full floor, but we were poor and didn't really have the money to do that. So all we got was the crawl space. So the game we played was not musical chairs, but musical rooms. We moved whole rooms from place to place. We would turn a bathroom, a full bath, into a pantry and a half bath. We turned the front porch into a nice entryway and a small office. And there's a room that, or kind of like a hallway that went upstairs, we turned into our laundry room. And they're different, like this house doesn't look like it did when we moved into it at all. If you walk through the house, if you just were in the inside, you wouldn't think that it was the same house at all. We love the old-timey linoleum they had in here. It had nursery rhymes on it, but it was in pretty bad shape, so there was no way we're going to try to preserve it. We called this room the cabin room. So we lived in this house about 1.5 years before we found this room. When we started gutting the upstairs, there was a little door that we just kind of thought went to a cubby upstairs. And it wasn't until we started gutting it, my wife looked in and actually saw that this was a whole room. And so we gutted this out, and we actually had it carpeted, and we put in all the woodwork and all the electric and everything ourselves, replaced the window. And this was going to be our kids' playroom. And our oldest daughter got to play with it for a little while before we moved out. But it was kind of a funny story to tell people that we lived there for 1.5 years and didn't even know that this room existed. So my wife and I decided that the color that we liked the most was this Bermuda sand color. So that's the yellow color on the walls. We painted our first house, the entire house, that color. So in this house, we went the same color scheme as well. When we went to sell the house, there was a big bidding war that started. And the first people to put in an offer was a young couple. And I thought about my wife and I, how we were a lot younger than we are now when we bought this house. And we were really grateful that they got it, that they can have this house for a long time and have the land for a long time and enjoy it the way we enjoyed it. We're enjoying our new home as well, and we've already started a few projects that we filmed, and we're getting ready to put videos out on the improvements we're making in our new home.